This question is also asking about the main idea of the text, but look at these answer choices. They're kind of long, so it worries me a little bit. I don't like that the answer choices are kind of just as long as the passage. So I'm hopefully going to be able to pick something very simple out of this passage, a dumb summary that I can hold on to, and then compare that against the choices without having to reread a million times. So let's just take a look. The painter Maria Izquierdo played an important role in the development of 20th century Mexican art. So, Izquierdo, good. But her work has never been well known in the United States except among art historians. One reason for Izquierdo's relative obscurity is the enormous popularity of some of her peers. In particular, the painters Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera have so captivated the interests of U.S. audiences that Izquierdo and other Mexican artists from the period often get overlooked, despite the high quality of their work. Okay, overlooked, captivated the interest, obscurity, popularity, never been well known. So notice, I don't need a lot of, trouble here to come up with a dumb summary. This is about, I'll use her initials, Maria Izquierdo, good, but not known. Right? They're really hitting this idea of her popularity. She's very good, but most people don't know that because there's other people who are better. So I don't care about any other details. I don't even want to remember Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera's names. I don't care that much. I'm much more interested in the overall point, not the specifics that they're getting to in that passage. Let's see, starting just with the basics, if there's an answer choice that makes sense. So she's good but not well known. Izquierdo's work is not as well known as in the United States as it should be because Kahlo and Rivera draw so much of the public's attention. Okay, so it does get into those details, so I like that. I'm a little bothered by the "as it should be." That's a kind of strong phrase. It suggests that, maybe we're obligated to know her, and maybe there's a fault in the people who don't. But I'm not going to worry too much about that now. That might just be me overthinking. So I'm just going to say, all right, this checks the box, right? It's talking about Izquierdo. It's talking about her not being well known. That's all I really care about for now. Let's take a look at B. During Izquierdo's lifetime, her paintings were displayed in galleries in the United States much more frequently than paintings by Kahlo and Rivera were. Well, does it say that? Much more frequently. Notice there's a couple of problems that we've seen in prior questions in making a comparison, right? It's comparing Izquierdo to Rivera and Kahlo. Now, the passage kind of does that as well, but does it compare them in that specific way about the quantity of their, work and how well it was shown or how often it was shown? No. So this is getting too specific. It might be true, but I don't think it is. I don't think they even say that, right? I mean, it just says that she wasn't well known. It doesn't compare how many times each person's work was shown in the US. So this is just getting into something that we know nothing about. C. Izquierdo painted some of the same subjects that Kahlo and Rivera painted, but used different techniques than they used. So what techniques did she use? I got nothing here, right? What subjects did she paint? I got nothing. Notice how when I turn that choice into questions, and then I go looking for those answers, I don't find the answers. But I'm not doubting my own reading ability. I'm not thinking, oh, maybe it's there and I'm just too stupid to see it. No, you can't do that. When you turn it into a question and then you go looking and you don't find the answer, it's not you. It's the passage, right? The passage is missing something. You're not missing something. You have to trust that because now we can confidently cross this out. You asked a very intelligent question. You went searching for the answer. Maybe you searched your memory first. Then if you needed to, you could reread the passage. But if you don't find the answer, it's not a very long passage. It's just not there. This happens all the time where they give us extra information in the choices that is just not in the passage. Understand that that's what makes it wrong. It's not that you're missing stuff. And this is very important. I do find that most people think that they're getting passage questions wrong because they don't understand the passage. Much more often, it's because they do, but they don't understand the choices. So just be careful. The choices are where the work is done. D. Few of Izquierdo's works are in galleries today because she produced only a small number of paintings. Again, we're quantifying things, but I don't know the numbers. I don't know how many she produced. What is a small number? Is a small number of paintings 2? Is it 200? I don't know. I'm not a painter. I know nothing about that, but that's the point, is I shouldn't have to make those kinds of judgments. That should be spelled out for me in the passage because we're not qualified to know. So unless they start talking about numbers in this passage, I am not allowed to start talking about numbers in the choice. And that brings us back to A, which I thought was going to be the answer. So there was something that bothered me a little bit about it, but there was stuff that bothered me way more about B, C, and D that was just provably false. And so Confidently now I'm picking A and moving on. Notice I'm not rereading this passage to look one more time to make sure that A is right. I was certain that it had some potential before. I didn't reread much then because I was like, okay, I had my dumb summary for a reason. It matched that dumb summary. And sure enough, as I went through B, C, and D, I was able to prove those wrong. So I'm just done. Let's move on to the next question.